there I was, in the middle of the most intense race of my life, finding myself in a bit of a precarious moment. You see, that's my girlfriend Allie. Those folks down there, well, they're the finish line heckle squad. And this is the moment right before things got pretty wild. Welcome to Semi-Sendy. My name is Rich. Today, we're in Sequatchie Valley, Tennessee at the Trials Training Center, competing in the Nut Up or Shut Up Enduro. And this event was definitely of epic proportions. But to tell the story, we need to back up just a bit. If you've been watching the channel, you might remember that I raced my first enduro here just a few months ago. It was the first mountain bike race that's been held here in about a year or two, and Go Nuts did a bunch of work getting the tracks back in shape for that event. The tracks were pretty short, but also pretty technical. For round 2 in the season opener, Go Nuts doubled down and extended their work, making the tracks much longer while also adding some pretty advanced features for the fast lines. The biggest of which was a new road gap on stage 1. Yep, that's right, a full-on road gap at the start of the race. I realized very quickly that if I wanted to be fast and competitive, I need to be hitting the road gap. There's just one major problem with that. I've never hit a road gap. In fact, they actually terrify me. I love technical riding and drops, but big air at high speeds is something my conservative nature has always shied away from. So there I was, faced with a difficult decision. Face my fears or take a big hit on my potential time for stage 1. What to do? Well, we headed out to take a look at the drop as a group. When we got there, just as expected, the gap looked even bigger in person than the videos we had seen from the build day.
Platform, drop. She ain't little.
I'm not really sure about the rest of the group, but I know there had to be a pretty solemn, if not visibly scared look on my face. My buddy Todd fired it up right away. It looked clean and straightforward, but the rest of us just didn't have the nerve today.
Not today. Not today.
Today.
So we moved on to check out the other features and extensions. Stage 2 had a nice new drop at the end of it as well. Much smaller than the road gap, but tons of fun. It was even the largest and most technical that Allie has ridden to date. And it was so awesome watching her work through it. Someone just recently commented on an older episode where we looked at Allie's progression. And it was wild to go back and see just how far she's come since just last summer.
Good job.
Thanks.
Stage 4 saw a significant expansion in the track. A new lower portion was added that was full of opportunities for error. This track is a tricky one. Finding a balance between speed and control was delicate. This stage was definitely a contender for one of my favorites though. Stage 5 also received a lot of work, easily doubling its length over the previous race. The top portion was fast and chunky with plenty of teeth. The end of stage 5 is a crowd favorite, and the taping was adjusted this year to open up some even spicier lines with opportunities to pick up an extra second or two. It also tightened up the bailout line a bit and added more time penalty for anyone choosing it. I took the bailout last fall, and this time I was gonna have to up my game a bit to stay in the competition. I wasn't alone here either. Allie was also seeing a need to work through the faster lines as well. Okay, so we've worked through all the stages and we're feeling pretty good about everything. But what about that stage 1 road gap? I guess I've got to get that monkey off my back. We returned the next day and kicked things off at this stage, starting from the top. After testing out a couple of lines at Heckle Rock, I got a sudden urge to go for the road gap. This time though, I felt I had looked at it plenty, and I made a game day decision to hit the drop on a full pull with a toe in from Todd.
Love that.
just like that, it was in the books.
Nice!
Of course, no first time feature tackle is complete without a second go to start dialing things in a bit. It was an awesome couple of days checking out the new features and track extensions with our awesome crew. The stoke was high and everyone was feeling great about the race ahead. That is until the rains came in.
I don't know what I'm doing.
All right, it's Friday. We're out here at TTC in the rain, taking a look at the course. Some new lines have opened up. Some taping has been switched around and it's looking really good. Pretty excited. There's a line that I really wanted to run that was previously taped off and it's now open. And I think it's going to be the ticket. Got a few folks out here pre-riding today, but I'm going to take it easy and not ride and hold off and run a few lines tomorrow and get primed up. I'm pumped. It's going to be quite the experience. This is the bottom of 5. It's a little bit of a gnarly one. Definitely one of the crowd favorites and one of my favorite sections to run. Pumped on it.
Engineer, where are you headed?
It's Saturday and the official race weekend practice day. The final lines have been taped and the course conditions are, well, pretty spicy.
Man, I totally just want to pop out like a chair and just sit here and take photos.
Yeah, for sure. A cooler, a chair, and a camera is going to be my new country song. I'm going to sell it to Toby Keith.
The rain has eased a bit, which means the mud is thickening up and starting to pace itself everywhere. There's around 150 riders pre-riding this today, and the rocks are getting more and more buttered up with each passing hour. With the conditions the worst we've ever seen here, we decided to pre-ride much more than planned to see how things were going to feel for the race. We started off with the lower half of stage 1. It tends to muck up the most, and we wanted to see how the road gap was faring.
I want true love, waiting there to see. Want that low train back.
Fortunately, the lander was actually the best dirt on the whole course. We hadn't yet seen the new top extension of stage 2. It had one slightly tricky spot at the top, and then got into some steep catch berms that really reminded me of Windrock.
And they left Columbia around 7. Oh Lord, they hit Louisville about 9. And poor boys.
Before reaching the road crossing to the bottom section, there was one super tricky part of steep off-camber that was seemingly impossible in the mud. Yeah, I plan to run my bike through here tomorrow. The bottom half wasn't too bad though.
In this lonesome, I want true love, waiting there.
Next, we headed over to the bottom of stage 5 to check out the new right line that just opened up after the taping adjustment. The new line was awesome and really opened up the potential for some added speed in these conditions.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Finally, we headed over to stage 4. We'd been hearing it was the heartbreaker in today's conditions, and the rumors proved to be true. Yeah, I'm not proud of my clear verbal frustration here, but this was a huge mental challenge. Stage 4 was slicker than snot on a doorknob.
Dude, this sketchy.
I was far from the only one struggling here as well. Practice was done for the day, and there was a small gathering that evening which helped to take my mind off stage 4. It really was awesome having a brief wind down with some friends before turning in for the night. Alright, it's Sunday. I didn't sleep much at all last night, and it's race day.
Sunday, February, what day is today? February 28th, Captain's Log.
All right, anyways, out here at the Trials Training Center in Sequatchie, Tennessee for the Nut Up or Shut Up Enduro. And I'm terrified, I'm not gonna lie. It's a super greasy course, super slick. We were out here for practice yesterday. We've ridden this place in the wet and can manage it just fine, but it is a totally different type of mucked up now. And with 200 people practicing yesterday, all the mud on the rocks, all the grease, everything, it is way scarier now. It's about the most terrified I've been to race anything, but I'm gonna get out there, give it my best shot, take you guys along, and you can watch me suffer at home. I made my way up to stage 1 with Allie. This is her second race ever, and she was nervous about someone dropping in quick behind her and overtaking her during the stages. So we made a game day decision to stick together, and I would drop in behind her on each stage. Up at stage 1, Allie's with me, soaking wet, sweating, dripping sweat. Fell in the creek on the way over, completely drenched my right foot. It's off to a good start. Anyways, waiting for the pros to drop in, and then experts to start dropping in, and get this race started. Just get through all this safe. Whew. Go. Me either. Stage 2, pretty legit. We got Caleb, frequent flyer here. Allie's gonna go in front of me again. Surviving.
Smash it, dude.
Dropping into with a little Caleb stoke was crucial. I botched this first move and tagged a tree. Spinning my brake and shifter levers 90 degrees. I readjusted them, tried to keep it cool, and kept pushing forward.
Screwed that up. Gotta go easy here.
When I got down to the off-camber part, the conditions had only gotten worse. It was a challenge just to stay on my feet to push through this spot. I managed to get through the lower half much better though.
I crashed too.
Allie says we're in it for the full experience.
Just coming up the chute here. This is legit.
Rough transfer. We had skipped the stage 3 preview due to the hard transfer, and overall, the stage went clean despite that. The loose rocky section in the first half was a touch greasy, but totally manageable. The bottom steep section had much more grip than I realized, and could have taken it a lot faster, but hey, no crashes. And now it's time for stage 4. This is probably the reason I only got 3 hours of sleep. This is the stage that almost made me want to bail on the race altogether after yesterday's practice. I couldn't get a single clean run down it, and my tactic is to simply run the bike if I get hung in any of the tech sections. So, here we go. The first rock garden was a breeze, and I somehow managed to stay on the bike through the following slip and slide section. I took it easy and clean into the first tech section, only to slide out on the exit. I struggled to get back on pace, dropping into the lower section, but managed about half of it before getting hung up. I scurried through the pedal tech section on my feet and hopped back on for the last chute to the finish.
Let's go!
4 of 5 stages done, and we're all still in one piece. Stage 5, full circle. I had no idea what was about to happen dropping into this stage. At this point, I thought I was definitely out of the running for the podium. I guess that's just my tendency to forget that I was not alone in my struggles. Everyone was racing under these same conditions. Towards the end of the top half, you come into a steep section with a dense amount of red clay, which gets brutal in the wet. I somehow managed a good line down it and was feeling great coming into the last tech section before the road. Just like that, I came out of the pedal and lost all confidence. It's probably for the best though. I straight up Fred Flintstone this section and it was ugly. I just had to get through it and get back on the gas. Coming into the straightaway that crosses into the lower half, I saw something that made my heart skip a beat. There was Allie, about 50 yards ahead of me. My mind started rushing about what might happen and what to do. Would I catch her on the bottom half, or would we maintain enough space to the finish? She told me that if I caught up to her, she wanted me to call for the pass. I didn't want it to come to that though. She's worked so hard for this race. As I dropped into the final slip of stage 5, I was gaining on her and coming close enough to call out. I just couldn't do it though. If she stopped here, it was going to put her off her rhythm coming into the final rock garden with the crowd heckling and cheering. The volume of the crowd was quickly escalating as we took our splits to our chosen lines. Allie split left to the notch move and I went right for the clamshells. Suddenly, there was a clear decision. This right line accelerates quick as soon as you get set up for the clamshells. I knew Allie was aware of my position and I went for the pass. The timing was perfect, the crowd went wild, and Allie and I passed this test of trust with one of the most wild finishes I could ever imagine. Well gang, we survived the first and hopefully the most brutal race of 2021. Time to take a load off, relax, and watch the rest of the crew finish.
Pretty rowdy here at bottom stage 5.
Down in Louisiana, where the tall, tall pine trees grow, there live a preacher daughter and she knows how to jelly roll. And a papa wanna save my soul, but a sweet talking daughter, Lord, she loves to jelly roll.
Hey boys, howdy.
Yes,
Good. Oh yeah.
Much to our surprise, Allie and I both ended up with podium finishes. Allie took home second in women's 30 to 39 expert, and I took first in men's 40 to 49 expert.
His favorite line was the bottom of 5, finishing with his girl. You well, guys, great job.
Hats off to Squirrely Dave, Steady Spin, and the rest of the Go Nuts gang for taking this event to the next level. This was one I will surely never forget. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Come join us for all of our future adventures here. Hit that like button, drop us a comment below, and until next time, we hope to see you out on the trail.
Who are you? Who do you work for? The FBI? The CIA?